Hello, my name is Brother Sean and this is a short video. It's a heart response to the election of our new Holy Father, Pope Francis I. In my heart, I am so thankful to God because I sense that prayers from the whole family of God have been answered, that we be given a shepherd who will identify with the people of God, with the children of God, especially the marginalized, the downtrodden. And of all the names that he could have taken as Pope, he chose Francis of Assisi. And that spoke a lot to my heart. Why would that be? Well, in the 12th century, God sent us a very beautiful messenger called Francis of Assisi, who came to reform the church from the outside in. A man of prayer, a man of humility, a man who lived with the people, who identified with the people, who came from a wealthy family but left it behind him. And instead of choosing a 5-star hotel, he chose to live in a cave, perceived by many in the church as a madman. But he left a charism that to this day still touches hearts. It has mine. And when he spoke to my heart in April 2008 by his tomb in Assisi, I wasn't prepared for what I was asked to do. And that was to come out of my comfort zone as a Catholic Christian and reach out to all faiths and none, like he did in the 12th century. But coming back to the election of the new Pope, Pope Francis I, I looked at the man at first and I was unsure, but then as he spoke, his first words were, "Please will you pray for me?" I've never seen that before in the election of a Pope. Not at their inaugural address from the balcony at St. Peter's Basilica. But then I listened to him and immediately I connected with him. I sensed a good man, a spiritual man, a man of holiness, a man who walked the talk as a young boy, but now is living it. Instead of listening to a lot of others who patronize you, he connects with the heart. And the name Francis of Assisi, what a role model to follow. Our spiritual father has enormous responsibilities on his shoulders, especially when you think of his background coming from Buenos Aires, where he chose not to live in a palatial palace, but to live in a small flat, and where he chose not to be driven by a chauffeur-driven member of staff in a limo. He chose the bus, the public transport, and where he chose not to be waited on, but to cook for himself. Does that not say anything about the man? It certainly does to me. He's a man of the people, but my heart goes out to him because he'll be in a place now that's opulent, and it will be lonely for him because he will miss his people, he'll miss his flock. So we must pray for him that he doesn't give in, because the pressures will be enormous, especially when you consider all the allegations that have been made about the Curie and how corrupt it has become, and how alienated the Church of Rome has become to the people. And that's why God sent Francis in the 12th century, to reform the Church from the outside, to show and lead by example. And here we have a shepherd who is, yes, an intelligent man, but who's a man who commands respect. And my prayer is that those who have given the church a bad name will do one of two things: either repent and repair the damage with him, or leave. The church now needs to be transparent, and it needs to become more in the footprints of Christ, who gave us a gospel of love and compassion. For some reason or another, over the years, Pope John Paul II was a beautiful shepherd, and he touched people because he connected with people. But many of the popes were just a figurehead somewhere in Rome, and they didn't really understand local people. And today the laity need a shepherd who will connect with them, who will understand their issues. And the church does need to be reformed, but that will come with your prayers and mine. So I give thanks to God that we have a shepherd, but a shepherd who practices what he preaches, who has chosen the simple life. Whether he will get chance to live that simple life in the Vatican is another story. But I sense he will lead by example, and he's two perfectly great role models, that of Jesus, the barefoot Galilean, and Francis of Assisi. In my heart, I guess I sense that Francis has become reincarnated in this man. He's bringing a message of hope to a world that has lost sight of the meaning of selfless love. A world that's become full of self. It's become corrupt, materialistic, even hedonistic. But here is a man that will challenge many to return to their heart, return to a God of love. And though he's a conservative, that really doesn't spoil it for me, because he's got to uphold the teachings of the church. But where he'll be different to possibly Benedict and many others is that he will connect with the people. He's a hands-on Pope. He's a hands-on man of God. He's a servant of the poor, to the poor. So in my heart I'm rejoicing, but I'm also thankful as a Franciscan that he's taken as his model Francis of Assisi. I wish him well, and I pray that you will too, but that you will pray for him, because he will need our prayers, but he will need our support. And what was so tragic to read, as soon as he was elected Pope, the media were trying to dish up the dirt on him. How evil can you be? They did the same to Pope Benedict, that he was a friend of the Nazis, and I think it's sad today how the evil one operates to try and discredit a good man who is willing to try, which is more than I can say for a lot of people. But there's an old saying, isn't there? Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Or as St. Augustine said, and repeated to many of us, he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. Oh no, that was Jesus. But Augustine said, there go I, but for the grace of God. Rather than find fault with Pope Francis I, let us give him a chance to show what he's made of. He is a man of God, and for that I give thanks on behalf of all my brothers and sisters who are lay monastics in the Teo community of interspiritual Franciscans. Namaste. And God bless Pope Francis I.